Hello, hello, hello. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Renette Upson-Bush. I am the CEO and founder of the Next Level Nation and the Next Level Chicks. And we are here today because we are launching the Girl Get Up and Move. You Are More Than a Conqueror. This book is being launched today. And so we're going to be coming on throughout the day, speaking to the authors and speaking to our special guest, which we have a special guest here today, Nazir Alston, and we're going to talk with him. And so I just want you all to join us and be a part of this celebration throughout the day. And we're going to make this happen. I'm super excited to have Nazir here. Nazir is a filmmaker, a Black filmmaker, a young filmmaker who went after his dream. But as he has been going through the process, life has hit. And Nazir has been dealing with sickle cell his entire life. So I'm going to let him introduce himself and then we'll go from there. Nazir, thank you for coming. Thank you for your yes. We're excited to have you here. And can you tell us who Nazir is and give us some information about you? Then I'll ask you some questions.
Firstly, I just want to thank you for having me. And yeah, so my name is Nazir Alston. I'm a filmmaker, entrepreneur. Um, uh, I'm trying to see where I should start with this story here. So I got into filmmaking at a very young age. I always had like an interest in movies, but I never necessarily wanted to become a filmmaker per se. Kind of became I shot my first film out of necessity. Honestly, it wasn't just like, oh, I want to make this movie. It was a necessity, and we had ended up creating this film called Incomplete Cell. In this film, Siclke Cell is a personal story of mine because me personally, I live with sickle cell anemia, and sickle cell anemia is a chronic disease that does not just affect Black people; it does affect other people as well, but it predominantly affects Black people. And I've been dealing with this disease all my life, from countless hospitalizations, having to deal with chronic pain crises. So another reason why I kind of like chose the path of entrepreneurship was because of the fact that I did have sickle cell anemia and I did understand that it would be hard for me to be reliable in the work field with my condition. And also I knew I would need some type of flexibility, and I always had an entrepreneurial bug in me as well. So I started my production company in 2015, and we had created Incomplete Cell, and it was an award-winning film, and it was a challenging film to make. We didn't have a lot of money, and but we did have like a lot of support from a lot of friends and family to help get it out there. And when you are creating something, oftentimes we worry about the money too much, or like if essentially if you don't have the money, sometimes you may have to pay for it with time. It may just take a little bit longer for you to get that project out there. But nonetheless, Incomplete Cell was a project that needed to get out. It was the first documentary about sickle cell anemia told from the perspective of a sickle cell patient. Because one, I was super young, and
How
youngest,
old were you when you did the documentary?
I believe I was like 16, 17,
Wow.
and yeah, and
You did
it,
that along with battling the sickle cell.
yes. So that was it was a lot going on, honestly. But like I said, at 16, I was really self motivated, and I knew that getting this project out there was a necessity. It wasn't just about me; it was about just shedding a light on the struggles that you have to deal with. So it's not just the disease itself; you have to deal with like a lot of the social structures and kind of like politics that's kind of like set up behind a lot of like sickle cell is like one of the most underfunded diseases for like research studies, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I think over the last like few years or whatever, it's gotten a little better, but it's still severely underfunded. A lot of people don't even know what the disease is. So there are smaller organizations that advocate for sickle cell anemia, but that's just it. They are smaller organizations, so their capacity is very um, you know small. But they do a lot, and their impact is large for the resources that they have. But they're small sickle cell organizations across the country, but it does not compare to the other organizations that are out there. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that one, this is a predominantly black affecting disease, and two, it's the most underfunded disease, so it's hard to really get things done. When you don't have the money to advocate for the disease as much as you can. So I kind of felt like I needed to do my part about it, and I had made that film, and it was award winning, and
Wow.
yeah.
That is amazing that you have fought through it. And that's really a sad thing to know that it's so underfunded and that people don't seem to care. It is a disease that mostly affects black people, and enough isn't out there on the disease. People don't know about it. So today we want to make sure that we are shining the light on it. And you are not just like battling it, you are thriving through it. You have done documentaries, you have been all around the world working with different people, big names, and
Mhm.
just really showing up, shining. And you just got out of the hospital like last week, right?
Yeah.
And so you were in there for like 9 or 10 days. I know that, and you
Mhm.
still are getting up, thriving. And so I'm super excited because you and your dad working together, two black filmmakers, doing documentaries that are really bringing out stories and changing the world and doing things, giving us information that people truly need to know. So
Mhm.
if you all want to look up Incomplete Cell and learn more about sickle cell, that documentary is amazing. It has won awards, and so it is something that you definitely should go and see. As well, they just came out with the Greenwood District. Oh my God. And guess what? They are number one on Afroland TV for most watched. So, yes, Angela says, I know a few who have it, and my oldest had the trait. Yeah, it's serious. So, yes. But Nazir, we are so proud of you all and what you all are doing with this movie. A lot of people don't know about what happened with the Black Wall Street. They don't teach this
Yeah.
in school, they like keep it hidden. And so,
Mhm.
I could be honest, I didn't really know about it until your dad started talking about it, and y'all were in Oklahoma and just really working on this thing and making it happen. And through the process of getting it done, sickle cell hit again. You have been stopped a couple of times trying to do this. So let's talk about that and talk about the movie and what it's about.
Yeah. Honestly, making District Greenwood, the amalgamated people, come to life was probably one of the most challenging projects that we ever did. And that's for many reasons. The project, honestly, it took 7 years for it to get to the public.
Wow.
Okay, so
I didn't give up.
yeah, so immediately after we finished Incomplete Cell, we kind of got started on the next film, which is District Greenwood. So that required a lot of research, and during that research, we learned more about the incident that happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921, and the bombing of this black town that was thriving, that had economic independence, and uh, we learned that there was a lot of covering up of like what happened, and we wanted to shed light on that. But there are other documentaries that already speak on what happened, and but we took a little bit of a different twist on our approach for the documentary. Of course, we shed a light on what happened and how that town, the media tried to say, oh, it was a riot that happened. It wasn't a riot, it was a massacre. And the reason for
Absolutely.
that was for insurance claims. So they didn't necessarily have to pay out these black families because they issued it as a riot instead of a massacre. So the state wouldn't have to, be responsible for anything essentially. Insurance would be have to be responsible for anything. Um, and then, but going back to more so the development of the movie itself, that was a struggle. So we had to do a lot of research that maybe took about like 2 years just doing the research and like really getting our facts together. And initially, I was the director of the film, and then my dad was the producer. But he became super, passionate about it. Like, and I seen that he was, kind of like more invested, kind of than me in the story. So I said, hey, I think this would be a great opportunity for you to have your directorial debut. So we kind of switched the roles. I became the lead producer on the project, and he was the director. So um, now at this point, we're trying to seek funding, trying to do crowdfunding, and trying to do extra client work to film this, because when we did Siclke Cell, we really did it on a truly shoestring budget. But we knew we wanted to create this documentary. We wanted it to be quality. We wanted to shoot it with the right cameras. We wanted it to hold up even longer with the longevity of the quality over time. Of course, and with the content and the context of the story, we want that to be quality as well. So these things take time. A lot of times, we want to get to the end goal, and but you can't skip the steps, because if you
Right.
skip the steps, you're going to miss the lessons.
Ooh,
Um,
that's powerful. You
and
cannot skip the
yeah,
steps because you're going to miss the lesson coming from a young soul.
yeah, absolutely. So we eventually did get the project out, and it took us maybe a year and a half to shoot the actual film, and then it probably took us another year and a half to edit it and really get it right, so where we can get it in front of people. So all together, we probably it was 3 years from shooting it into editing it, but before that, it was another 4 years just getting development and just getting the funding to shoot it right, and to where it would be on the network, and quality and ready for a network. Because that's a lot of times I see a lot of independent filmmakers, and they shoot projects, but it will not be up to quality for a network to take on their project and acquire it, because the quality isn't there. So that was really big for us. Like, yes, we could have told the story on the phone technically, but that's not what we wanted to do, because we wanted to have allow our project to have longevity over time. So
Wow. Wow. I didn't know it took 7 years. So talk about conquering, talking about getting up and moving. I mean, for
yeah.
you to have gone through, and I know that your dad knows the number of times you've been to the hospital, and him
Mhm.
trying to be up there with you and everything that you've been through. And I know you go a couple of times a year,
Yeah.
and you trying to work through the pain. You working in the hospital when you can. You coming out of the hospital, jumping back into work. I mean, talk about conquering, talking about moving forward. This is just so amazing. So I knew that we had to have you on here today to talk about conquering, because not only did you get through the film, and you did it, and y'all did it with class, and it definitely doesn't look like it was on a shoestring budget, and to get through all those interviews, and to go to the different cities to meet people, to find the ancestors, to do the work, like, wow, that means you really, really wanted to make this dream happen. Through all the thick and thin, through the hard or whatever, y'all got up. And like you said, it's the lesson that you had to get through. And so you decided to get through it, and you got up and conquered. And not only that, to live, I'm sure most people don't know what it is to live through the kind of pain that you've endured. You've
Mhm.
done this from childhood. And
Mhm.
so I'm just so super proud of you. I am going to share the link in the comments, because we want you all to make sure that you watch this documentary. We need to get the word out, because people
Yeah.
need to know about this. And as he said, it took a different spin, because it shows and tells what really happened, but it tells how we need to come together as a
Mhm.
community, how we need to put our dollars together, how we can get
Yeah.
up and move and make money. And so it's not a negative spin, it's really positive, and we need to get more people on this. So definitely we would love for you to be able to share this out and really let the people know about it, because it's really, really great.
Yeah.
Nazir, do you have any other things that you want to talk about? Upcoming projects right now? I know this one is big and this is out in this
Mhm.
field. So I'm gonna put this one in the comments, definitely. But
Yeah.
anything
Um,
else you want to add?
I mean, honestly, right now the focus for NK Creations, we're really focusing on pushing out this project, District Greenwood, and getting out to as many people as possible. Right now, we're also trying to do an HBCU tour and just trying to screen the film at different HBCUs around the country and have a Q&A panel discussion. So we're trying to do that right now. Because one thing about the films that we do make, um, they have more utility than just you watch it and you enjoy it. Like with the films that we make, we're able to monetize these films a little bit more than your average film because of the fact that it has utility. You can show these films in classrooms and then talk about it, so we can get paid off of uh, going to schools and talking about a film that we created. So it's not just, oh, we're getting paid from people watching it on a streaming platform. We can also host different events and panel discussions about it and get paid that way. So I think when you have something, you create something, you want to figure out as many ways that you can monetize the thing that you create. And but yeah, that's really the main focus right now is getting District Greenwood out there to as many people as possible. We are also working on a scripted narrative right now of a sickle cell journey between the parents and the child. So it's not going to necessarily
Oh,
be a
that's gonna be
documentary.
amazing.
It's going to be like a movie. So we're also working on that. But that's something that you probably won't see like for the next few years, honestly. But it is in the background and we're working. And yeah, honestly, disagreeing is what we're pushing right now. And we're trying to utilize this film to really teach financial education across the country and to youth and honestly any age, honestly, because there's a lot to learn from that town in 1921, Tulsa, Oklahoma, where we can learn how to rebuild something like that, how to be self-efficient. So um, that's kind of what we're focusing on, and there was a lot to conquer those trials and tribulations is but it's a part of the process, and you had to remain vigilant, you had to remain resilient, and you had to remain persistent throughout this process, and you cannot stop until it's done. um
Absolutely.
the goal never changes, but the plan may change, so that's
Right,
another thing.
absolutely. The goal never changes, but the plan may change. And so, Nazir, as a young person, you're 25 years old,
Yep,
24.
in 2 weeks.
Okay, in 2 weeks, you'll be 25 years old. You started this, wrote your first documentary at 16. You stayed on top of it or whatever. So we have young Black people out here really making strides, really moving forward, really conquering. And so this is just so amazing that you have done this. And so I just like wanted to shine a light on you all. These are stories that we should be sharing, the positive stories. People are quick to share negative stuff, but we want to share this out. And so today, as we launch the Girl Get Up and Move, You Are More Than a Conqueror book, we wanted to bring Nazir Alston to you, a Black filmmaker. We have the link in the comments for the book. For the documentary. So make sure that you go and watch it and you share it as much as possible. We also have the link for the book. You can buy it right now on Amazon for $1.99. It is a
Mhm.
story of conquering, of getting up, of moving forward. And so this is what we're going to be doing the entire day, sharing this out, pushing people to move, to get up. And if anybody is an example, it is Nazir. So, Nazir, we are so proud of you. And I just thank you so much for your yes, for coming
Yeah.
on. We thank you for what you're doing in the world. We need to get more funding to the Sickle Cell Foundation. That's really so important. And that is a disease, like he said, that's not funded like other stuff. And it's just as important as these other things that have the big funding. So I just thank you so much for coming on, shedding the light, sharing it. He has a documentary, Incomplete Cell, really, really great documentary about. Oh, thank you, Miss Ella. Miss Ella has been sharing the movie. If y'all have any questions that you all want to ask Nazir right now, please put them in the comments. And we want to just continue to support him, support the mission, and really thank you for it. I want to ask you, how do you get up and continue to go in the pain? And like you come right out of the hospital working, like you in pain, screaming, like excruciating.
Yeah.
You still trying to do movies.
I would say like when I was a little bit younger, like my bounce back was a little bit faster. But now I'm a little bit older. Like I gotta like spend probably like a week or whatever to recover from a hospitalization. But that's the thing about sickle cell anemia, that um it's like the invisible disease. Like there's like really no telltale signs that a person has sickle cell anemia until like they're in the hospital. Like what happened? Um, because it's not something that you can necessarily see. It's just like we have these pain crises, and they can happen at the blink of an eye, quite literally. Anywhere that blood flows in your body, you can have a crisis right there, and you may have to go to the hospital to deal with it. So how do I get through it? Is just like once I go through that moment and I go through that particular crisis incident, and I'm out the hospital, and I may recover for a week, I'm good. You know, luckily enough for me, there are other patients out there that may have more issues where they are more limited in their life. But for me, when I'm not in the hospital, I can pretty much do whatever I want, and go about life whenever I want. So it's weird, because I can be on set, directing, shooting, perfectly fine. But then in the blink of an eye, I could be in the hospital, because that's just how the disease works. I like to call it the invisible disease, because a lot of people just don't know. Like, oh, I didn't know you had sickle cell. Like you just wouldn't know.
You're fine one day, and then the next day it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
So well, just your fight is really making a difference. And we just thank you again for being a part, for coming on, for sharing with us. We thank you for what you're doing in the world. And you will definitely, this interview right here will help somebody to get up. If you can get up every day with sickle cell, get up, go, wake up, be your best self, and do the things that God has called you to do, then who can't? Why can't you get up? We are more than a conquerors. So we need to stand up, show up, so we can go up and conquer. So I just want to thank you so much for this amazing interview and for sharing with us. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. We have a question here. Have you tried any holistic options, Dr. CB?
Yeah. So if anybody has done research, it's me. So I've came to the conclusion that it's not, it's you need to go completely holistic, or stick with traditional medical. I think there's just a balance you need to have. You need to have a healthy diet, be as alkaline as possible. Try to cut out the mucus out of your body, because I try not to eat meat, because meat causes mucus, and mucus can lead to inflammation, and inflammation can lead to um, pain, honestly. So I think it's a balance. I think you need to have your medical professionals involved in your life if you have sickle cell anemia, and um, you need to also be eating healthy and taking care of your body, be going to the gym as well. So that's my kind of like my take on the whole holistic approach.
Awesome. We got a comment from Coach Remedy. She says, I'm so proud of you, my young brother. I honor your commitment and courage. I lost an aunt to this dreadful disease. Yes, we are proud of you. So she wanted to say that to you. So, yeah. So yes, we are sorry about your aunt, and it is a disease. This it can be dreadful, but guess what? We can get up and we can make it through it. Nazir is a prime example. He is making his mark on the world. He is not just surviving sickle cell, but he is thriving through it and making a difference. So no matter what you go through, always know that you can get up and you can conquer it. And thank you for being an example. Again, today we are shedding the light on getting up and conquering. Please make sure that you grab a copy of this book. It is amazing. Girl, get up and move. You are more than a conqueror. This is the third volume of the book. And the book has changed lives. And this one is going to be no different. So y'all got to get the book. Get the book. All right. We'll be on throughout the day. And we thank y'all for being a part of it. We have a launch party tonight at 8 o'clock. We getting ready to party. We're going to toast it up. We're going to do our thing. And so, Nazir, we had to bring you on. You're the first interview of the day, and you just sealed the deal. And I think you're gonna help some people. And I don't even think, I know you're gonna help some people to get up and move. So thank you again for all your hard work. I love you and your dad. You know, the nephew, all that. So thank y'all, and keep doing a great thing. Thank you, Nazir, and stay walking in your purpose. All right.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right. So y'all, we getting ready to end, and y'all we'll see y'all shortly.
All right, peace.